feels amazing to work on a TMNT game. Really, it's really a passion project.
If I were going back in the past and telling my younger self, like, hey, you're gonna work on a TMNT game, I would be like, what? Like, that's amazing, yes. So yeah, it feels pretty cool.
We grew up with TMNT. I remember at Halloween dressing up as Donatello. It's always been like really present in my childhood.
So Donatello is your favorite?
Actually, Raphael is my favorite.
Because we're already working on Streets of Rage 4, we already had in mind to do a beat them up. We started discussing with Nickelodeon, and then we met at GDC, and they told me that someone else was pitching the same kind of project than we were pitching.
And yeah, we just decided to join forces. Yeah. The decision to go for the 87 TMNT is really because that's what we grew up with, and that's where our heart stayed. Right? Yeah.
I think also that's what fans really wanted to see as well. There was a lack of seeing some 87 design coming back in some sort of way, and with a retro game it just makes sense. Working on the TMNT license is great, but working on the TMNT license from that era is even greater, because it just like makes so much nostalgia for us and for the people we work with. It just made sense basically.
Yeah, all the research was already done. Our kid self
exactly.
did all the work back then.
Exactly.
So it was really exciting to go back to that. Yeah. I think also the beat 'em up genre was really at its prime around the 90s. So it just made sense to go back to that design and that era. We really wanted to show people where we were going for, and that's why we choose as well to do a fully animated trailer with the original track from the show. I knew that people would love what you guys did because the pixel art is just amazing, the animation is amazing, and it's just exactly what people were looking for. So I was pretty confident it was going to work out. I feel like the TMNT games were really at its prime during the arcade era of the 90s. So it only made sense to go back to the roots. All the toys, the comics, the show, when we started working on the project, it all came back to me, kind of like even the toys I had back in the days, the ones that I really cherished, and that we could see in the game. It was super exciting, because in the end, like, you can relive that period, and with a game like that, especially with those beautiful pixel art, it was just perfect with that design, and I'm glad that Nickelodeon let us do that, definitely. Yeah, that was definitely a dream. Dotemu and Tribute Games, I think, share the same passion for retro games. When I looked yesterday a bit at your office, and there is someone in your team working on old consoles already. Like it's just the same. It feels at home almost. Yeah, I think we share a lot of things in common in that regard. Like you guys have done so many remakes and taken some old games and revitalized them. We were still working on Streets of Rage 4 while we started working on, at least on the project of doing a new TMNT beat them up. And I really like the fact that you guys had a different approach. I think there's obviously going to be a comparison with TMNT and Streets of Rage. And yes, they're beat 'em ups, but they have totally different pace and dynamics. So yeah, I think it's really good that you guys have that experience and you shared that with us. This is actually the second TMNT game that I've worked on. I also worked on the TMNT game for Game Boy Advance. That was like really a dream back then. It still had its limitations, like the Game Boy Advance doesn't have really good support for multiplayer.
And we all know that TMNT needs to be played for players.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is like a second chance at really doing the best project that we could imagine.
Congrats to the Tribute Games team, because it's been a tough development process, especially with the current situation with COVID-19. But the result is great, so really looking forward to it.